Hello, everybody. Please let me know if you can hear me. Yes, no. Let me look at the chat. Okay, great. So, just to give you guys a a disclaimer, it's Sunday, so today is like you gotta cook, clean, do all that stuff. And my tail, I don't want to curse. It is Sunday, so I'm respecting the Lord's day. But I use some damn ammonia and bleach to clean, and Lord Jesus, me and my dogs, we hacking up a storm in here. So, whew, let me catch myself. But anyways, um, we're gonna get started. Please let me know if you guys can see my chart. I wonder if you guys are muted because you guys can definitely take your mute off and respond and talk to me. So I don't want to feel like I'm talking to myself. Let me make sure that you guys can. Hey, Jason. Hello, Chris, Janelle. Who else do we have here? Let's see. Can you guys try? Can someone try to unmute themselves? Let me know if they can say anything because this will be a participation. It won't just be me in here talking.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. All right,
Okay.
good. All right, perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay. I probably should get some damn water. But anyways, here we are. We are looking at my chart. So, what I want to say is right now, and this is also too for trading, is that we're not here to predict the market. We are just preparing for the market. So, please let me know if anyone trades Asia, because this will be really super helpful for going into the market in another hour or so. Um, who trades Asia? You can either type it in the chat or you can say I do. Because also too, this if you don't trade Asia or you don't trade London, then this lesson today would be for what you would do in the morning before New York opens. And so these levels, yes, they are going to be at some point an indicator, but if you only trade New York, then I would probably say marking up your charts would probably be better on Monday morning. But this is just, again, kind of like a guideline on what I normally do on a Monday morning. Or again, if I'm preparing to go into Asia, I would like to look at my levels. So, okay, no response. You guys gotta,
Hi,
hi.
I do. Sorry,
Okay,
I was coming from work.
it's okay, no problem. Okay, you do. All right.
Yeah,
So, is it because you're in a different time zone? You like because the market was a little bit slower?
I think I like how it's slow and I could kind of like pace myself, but also because of my work schedule. So I
Okay.
usually like come home late anyway.
Okay. Okay. So, do you mark up your charts? Does anyone mark up their charts? Or are we just using the EMAs as kind of like a guideline?
I was using supply and resistance and then the EMAs as well.
Okay.
Yeah, same here.
Okay. Okay. Um, to me, I feel like uh supply and demand, support and resistance, um, kind of like your buyer sellers, or again, your floor and your ceiling. To me, again, on a micro like scalp, not a scalping, sorry, on a micro scale of looking at all of these zones, they pretty much serve as the same in a sense. Um, I am a person when I first started trading, or still currently trade, because again, I do feel like you should have other confluences to look at or things to think about when you are trading. And so sometimes, we have all gone through as a trader. I mean, who else in here has tried other strategies? Or is Tima the only strategy you've tried, stuck with, and that is it?
I
I'm
try like
fairly new.
ICT.
Okay, ICT. Okay. Anyone else?
And I'm fairly new to trading, so I just started in January. So I first started with the TMA. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Raheem says he only done Tima and he marks a previous day high, previous day low, as well as pre-market high and low. Okay. Um, Pre-market is a little funky in terms of that time frame. I still kind of loop that in to New York. Or again, because it's such a short time frame, also too, that is when the orders come in. If anybody has traded the orb or heard of the orb strategy, which is the break and retest, um, they usually mark out the 8 o'clock to 8:15 candle on a 15-minute time frame. And that is when the banks and all the orders are put in. So that kind of like dictates the market. Yes, you still won't trade until after 9:30, but that high and that low of that 15-minute candle is a pretty good indicator. So pre-market, obviously, too, that candle will be in there. So it is something to look out for. I don't have a lot of experience with pre-market, but I kind of loop them all in together. It is a very, very short time frame. So, anyways, let's get into it. So I start with a naked chart, and I think we all should. So we can start to eyeball and look at these things. And so I like to start on the 4 hour time frame. And so we all know that obviously two candles um looks is the day, is the trading session, right? So for me, when I traded ICC, we're just go over this really, really quickly. As you can see, this is what one of my old charts or charting would look like. So obviously it starts here with my indication. I have this yellow box for my correction, and then I would have a green box for my continuation. And then these are my levels here. This is very, very old. I'm very surprised that it's still on here. Um, but it is one of the things that I have done in the past. And so this is kind of like where I want you guys to get started or get familiar with your charts. For me, just as Raheem said, and we talked about the previous day highs, previous day lows, um, pre-market high and low. So again, like I said, we're looking at the 4 hour chart. So these are the last 2 hours of the market. Well, I'm sorry. This is New York session. This was during, so this must have been, like the 10 to 2 candle and the 2 to 6 candle. However you want to look at it. But these are the two candles, this red and this green one here, the last two that makes up Friday's New York session. So when we look at it, was most of the day was bearish, right? And so and if you were in my power hour, we talked about too the bias for the day. So depending on what type of trader you want to be, this will be a huge indication in terms of um, what you're looking at in terms of how you're going to trade that day. Are you just looking for sales that day? And does anyone look at their bias? Or does it matter? Let me know. Does it matter to you?
I think like I look at the 4 hour, and if it breaks like the high or the low, that's how I'll go about whether it's bullish or bearish.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I normally would go, but I haven't been doing good with my bias with my
Okay.
team strategy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what I'll do.
Okay. All right. So for me, when I am trading Tima, it doesn't matter for me because we're only looking for a few points. We just want to be in and out, right? So, but again, if you want to look at again things that's going to validate your trade, this is a great place to start on your 4 hour chart. So, can someone tell me, just looking at this chart, what is my previous high and previous low? Where is it? So let's count. I'm going to count the candles so you can tell me what candles where we should be looking at. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's look at these 8 candles here. So from this long engulfing green candle to here, where is my previous high and my previous low? And how do we determine that?
So I will say your previous high and your previous low will be in the blue right there because that's when session will open. So I will start my previous high, my previous low like at the red candle.
This one here
Nope,
or this
to
one?
that one.
Okay. So this is your previous high and your previous low here. This candle here.
No, that will so I will mark like the bottom wick. That will be like my previous low, and then uh I'll mark the green one up there, go up. Yep, that was my previous low. Then the go up.
This one?
I'll say that's the previous high, but I could be wrong.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about it. Okay. Anyone else agree or disagree? I can't see the chat now. So I'm
This is Evie. I think that the high is correct, but the low, I will go to candle number 9, I think it is, that red one with the wick.
this one down here.
Yeah,
Okay. Why?
because it broke, I mean, if it breaks that level, then we should have some sales. Um, Especially if we go back the other way to the left, we can see that before that there were sales right there. So that's what I think. That's the lowest of the latest in the 4 hour. Like the most recent high is correct, but then it's kind of like if it breaks candle number 4, it might go into sales. But if we want to me, that would be the most recent lowest point. Like if it goes under that, then it's definitely going to be a shorts for sure.
Okay. Anyone else? So I'll put one here where this was one suggestion. Anyone else? Agree, disagree? And do you think, just while we're thinking about that, or put, I don't know if you guys, let me check the chat. Hey, Treese. Um, so let's look at this, right? Now, does anyone go to their line chart? I know I've talked about this before, but I love doing this because this will make a lot more sense. Does anyone use their line chart when they're marking out their levels?
Yeah, at least I do because it's easier to read the highs and lows instead of using an indicator. I actually use that.
Okay. All right. So now let's looking at our chart. Right here is current price, right? So this is no indication here. This is the current low. I'm just gonna just move this line up. This is the current low. Everybody agree? Yes.
Yes, I
I
agree.
agree.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is current price. This is current low. So that means this is current high. You understand? Then that means this is your previous high, and this is your previous low. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes, that makes sense.
Okay. So when we're looking at the chart again, it's going to move this away. This right here is current price. We don't know where this is going. I have dogs. I'm sorry about that. And it's thundering and lightning. I live in Florida. It's like hurricane season, so they get a little jarred by the thunder. So just in case you guys hear some dogs barking in the background. Um okay. So right here, current price. This is the current low. This is the current high. This here is the previous low, and that's the previous high. So now we'll delete this line and we'll go back and look at our chart. Okay? So you guys had the low correct, and this is where we are. It's these candles here. So what we would do is I would mark up this and say previous 4-hour high. However you want to do it, right? Did I spell that right? I don't have my glasses on. You guys get my drift. Honestly, thank God for autocorrect because honestly, the way I be typing and the way my mind moves, I be thinking and typing a mile a minute and I be having so many typos. So, okay. So, previous 4-hour low. Okay. Now, you can, everyone knows that they can save these as templates if they wanted to. I know I talked about this in my power hour, but again, I just want to make sure. Also, too, this is also too a swing level. So you can say these are your swing highs and your swing lows. As you can see, it's bouncing up and down off of this range in a sense. And then now we have this breakout, which is the indication. It's possible that this here is if you're trading ICC, this would be the breakout in a sense, or this is your indication. So let's go back to looking at our templates. Does everybody have templates saved, how they're marking up their charts? Yes. Okay. How do we get the line bar? Okay. Ash K said no. Okay. All right. So how do you get the line? So do you see my cursor here to this right, I'm sorry, to this left side panel? You're either going to click here where you see this line, and then you're going to select here, or once you do this, you can save this like as a favorite. Yes, I got it. Okay. And then save it up here. And then so in this little bar here, like in this menu bar, then you'll have all the things that you use quite often, and you can easily populate it. So now that we have our 4-hour levels, right? If you've noticed and you've watched Candace trade before, she also marks out a 12-hour supply level, right? Um, those things matter. 8 hours, obviously those things matter, right? So if we wanted to look at our 12-hour, I think I can do custom, right? I don't know if I have the plan for it, but let's see. Did I do it? All right. All right, so now let's look at our 12 hours. And these levels will come in handy at some point through our trading, right? So let me just zoom in. So according to our 12-hour chart, right, we're still bearish. No, I'm sorry. We're still bullish. You gotta forgive me, guys. It's the fumes. We are still bullish, right? So let's look at these levels here. We can also, too, mark these levels out. Do you guys mark out your wicks, or do you mark out the body of the candle?
I mark out the body.
Okay.
I mark out the body as well.
Okay. Anyone else mark out the wick? Okay. All right. So I'm gonna put all right. And so we're going to break this down to a granular level, right? So now that we have our kind of like our baselines, and let's just look at the last time we've hit these levels here. I'm going to erase that. As well as all of this. So when we scale back and we look at our chart, we have been bullish like this since the 31st of March. So this level here, do you think this level means anything? And it may be something that we should mark out? Because it hit this level here,
Yeah.
and ever since we've been going up. Like I can't imagine us breaking this level and then seeing what the market does, right? Because we're hitting all-time highs, right? When is the last time we haven't? We haven't. Let's look at this. Let's look at the chart. Okay. So sometimes too, I put the price on my levels, well, on my lines, so that way I know what's happening, right? And then we can also too look at our swing levels. So let me just make this a little bit bigger, zoom in. All right. And so look how it was going up and down, and it was having a hard time breaking this level. So I'm sure this would happen over a couple of days because we're on the 12-hour chart, right? So I think this level here is a level that we should look at, or that we should at least mark it out. Okay, so what should I call this level? Anybody?
I'll like liquidity sweep.
Why would it be a liquidity sweep? I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm
Because
just
if it break below that level, then mm, if it break below that level, then it may go up again. So the people who will be down there will like get stopped up if it go back up again.
okay. Anybody else agree, or anyone else can think of what we will call this level?
I
I mean, we
think
have,
maybe it's support.
okay.
Is it an all-time low or is it just
No, it's not
support?
an all, no, it's not an all-time low. I mean,
Sell side
we've been lower.
liquidity.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Sell side liquidity.
Sell side liquidity.
Mhm.
Okay. What did we say? What do we call this? Support? Did someone say support, right?
Yeah, support.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, too, I like to put what this number is. So this is 6,347.25. Okay. Sometimes too, I might not put all of this stuff here, but I will definitely put this price here, and I will put the date. All right. So we've marked a very significant level, right? Because this has been going on for months. So let's just say again, you were a swing trader. You would have no reason to be out of your trade. No reason to be out of your trade in April, even if you got in when it pulled back a little bit a few times again in April, even as early as May, the first beginning of May, you could have been in your trade. So again, these levels matter. So is there any other level that you think is a level of interest? And again, we're still on a 12-hour chart because we still got to break this down some more. Let me look at my chat so I can see it. I don't know what I did with it. Okay. 12-hour support. Yes. Ezra said wigs have info at lower times. They do. Can we go back to the previous markups after this so I can mark them, please? Yes. So if we look at it, so here's another key indication too. You see how I have this 12-hour low? And look at it here. This is definitely a level of importance, right? Because it's hit that level before. Hold on. Saint. Okay. It's hit that level before. That was 2 weeks ago. It's hit this level before, it's going down now, it's pushing back up. So maybe we should, what is this level? 75, 1750. I think that's a level that we should think about, or at least keep an indication on. And sometimes too, if you're doing your TPs and things like that, or your stop loss, and you want to kind of figure out, where it potentially can go, these levels and these numbers make sense. So sometimes, again, when you're marking up your chart, you're going to have several of these lines, and that's why putting things in these lines, just so you understand, and it gives you an indication of where you are in the market, right? Because to me, this will be another level, right? It's another swing level because once it got here, it's pushing the market back up, right? So what is that? 73, 73. I need to get my glasses, y'all. Wait, what the hell is this that I wrote? Why y'all ain't say nothing? Y'all just letting me type? What level is that? What'd I say? 75.23. Okay. So a lot of times too, this is an important level. Honestly, this is one of these levels here too, that I might set an alert on. And doesn't everybody know how to do that? I know we've talked about it before in my power hour. I'm not sure what was covered in the other classes, but again, depending on what you trade, how you trade, other confluences to think about, if it breaks these levels, where is it going? Because that's the thing. This is kind of a precursor or an indication of where the market is going. So this level here is important. Anybody see anything else before we go back to the previous chart so Ash can see the levels? Anybody have any questions about the levels that I marked out? No? Okay. So usually depending on, again, if you're a swing trader, or a person who wants to hold their trades for a long time, you would mark out this level as well, this level as well. So you know that when price is tapping into here, it could dance a little bit right here and then push itself up. All right, so now that we have our 12-hour, let me see. All right, so as we're going to go back to the 4-hour chart so you can see what that markup looks like, and then we're going to start breaking this down lower and lower and lower. Can you see it now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. All right, perfect. So as you can see too, even on a 4-hour level, the past, how many days is this? The past 4 days, as far as the market is concerned, we were up and down in this area. And so what are we calling this area here? What is it? What do we call this when the market moves like this?
Consolidation.
Validation.
Okay. And then also too, if we marked out this, I've heard Treese and I've heard Candace use this term. They call it the chop box, right? Chop zone, chop box, right? So again, this is another thing too. And when we look at our levels, like I said, this bottom level here, this 12-hour low, this was a high at some point, right? Broke down, and then now it pushed back up, right? And so we're looking at this ceiling is now the floor for this move up here, right? So as we can see that, when we have supply and demand, support and resistance, they flip as the market moves, right? So we also too need to be very aware of that. So now we've gotten our levels marked out. Now we're going to go to the 1 hour and see how this plays out. I'm going to minimize the chat. So if you guys are saying anything, please just unmute yourselves because it's a lot going on now. All right. So now we see a lot more candles. And again, we're now starting to see how the market bounced up. It came back down. Again, your support and your resistance, your floor and your ceiling, your support and your demand, right? So there really isn't, in a sense, I think on a 1 hour level, you see how these two candles here, they're damn near identical. I would call this a swing level. Would you not? It's okay. I'm just going to assume you said yes because I'm not looking at the chart. I'm not looking at the chat. So I would mark this level out here too. 1 hour. We can say it's a 1 hour swing, or we can say it's a 1 hour high. And then or I would just put this as or again, or a 1 hour, sorry, or a 1 hour high, or again, or you can call it a swing. Everyone following along? Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So again, this is a naked chart. We also too have indicators, obviously, that can do this for us. I do use an indicator that shows me my supply and demand, my support and resistance. Again, I kind of say it's the same thing. I know that it's not for some people who want to get really, really granular with the terms, but for me, who's looking at this like just overall and generally, to me, it's all the same thing. So when I'm marking up my charts, this is normally what I would do. And obviously, then we break this down to sometimes if you wanted to break it down again to your 15-minute time frame. And we start to look at our chart again. And we can kind of see what's happening here. Right? So when you're now looking for an entry and you go back and look at your higher time frame levels, because that really is what's dictating the market, could you necessarily take a trade in here? Because this to me becomes a chop box, right? Anything that's in here, is going to be dancing around in price. So you would want to have a full candle closure to break above this level. And that could dictate how we're taking trades, right? Now, let's just say we put on, so this is my supply and my demand. So if anybody wants this indicator, it is by Flux Charts. Okay. And so now that we put this indicator on, let's look at how the market reacts to these levels. And then does now our levels make sense? Or again, do we need to break this down some more on a 15-minute level? Would you leave the chart as is, or will we break this down some more for our 4 to 15-minute chart? Because I'm sure you guys are just entering in on the 1 minute, right? 1 minute, 3 minute, maybe possibly the 5, but nothing higher than that, right? Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to look into the chart. I mean, into the chat.
Yes, that's what most of us, well, that's what I use.
Okay.
I usually enter on a 1 minute, and sometimes a 3 minute, and rarely the 5 minute, but sometimes. So it's between the 1 and the 3.
Okay. All right. So would you mark up your chart some more on the 15-minute? Oh, Tree says, sorry, I can't unmute the kids. It's okay. I got dogs and we're like hacking up a storm. It's quite all right. I'm so sorry. Hold on, y'all. Okay. Well, listen, it's their day. They're home, so they got a right to make noise. All right, so look, for me, I also too
Um,
go ahead.
oh, I was just answering. You said, will we mark it up some more? I was just looking for a little bit more support and resistance, but I really kind of don't see none. So I would say like probably not. I wouldn't mark it up no more.
Okay. All right, so then now let's go back to where let me see, I do mark supply and demand on the 5 minute. Okay. So now let's look at the 5 minute then. We can see a little bit more here. But also too, let's look at the levels that we already have marked out of importance. Do you see how they're now all tied in? So regardless if you do this on the 1 hour, the 4 hour, the 12 hour, remember the higher time frame is going to be your friend when you are marking up your charts. Anything less than that, yes, as Tree said that she uses the 5 minute, but as you can see, we've already marked up the levels that she would have marked. Does everybody agree?
Yes.
Okay. Like even looking at this on a granular level, when you like again, when you break down a chart some more, this here to me would be a key level that I would mark out. Look how many times it has hit this level and come back down. Hit this level, come back down. Hit this level and come back down. It will need to fully break above this for me to take a trade. So to me, this level is really important. Mhm. Anything else you want to call this? Anything? Since I trade on the 1 minute and the 15 second, oh my God. Those levers matter to me because my moves are hella small. Yeah, for sure. Definitely for sure. So what will we call this level? This level that I've marked out. And I would put this price is level as well too. 75, 34, 50. All right. Okay. A level of importance on the 5 minute chart. I think this is a level. Sorry. To me, this is a level of importance here too. And you see how, again, where I put in this level of support, and you see again how it's bouncing up and down between these two levels. And what was that? Let me go over. Did I go over too far to mark up that level? That was a higher time frame level that we had marked previously. Okay. Anybody see anything else? Anything else on my chart? And again, you see how this 5 minute support at this level, if we move our line over some more, look what happens. Look where it touches again. So as you can see, these levels do matter. Anyone see anything else on my chart? We're on a 5 minute. So we're getting closer to levels that will definitely be an indicator for you to help you out because you guys are executing your trades either on the 5 minute, the 3 minute, the 1 minute, and like Treese, the 15 second, which is crazy. Okay, let's go down to the 1 minute. Now we're gonna have to zoom in some more. And now let's look at how price reacts to the levels that we already have marked out. And so as you can see, the more and more you do this, like it just looks like a bunch of noise, right? So obviously I would need to move this down so we can kind of mark out and look at what our levels look like. all the way through. I think I can move this down like this. Yeah, something like that. Anybody see anything else on my chart? Now that we're on the 1 minute, this is where you guys are executing your trades. Now let's zoom in some more. Yeah. Normally what I do is, so let's say for example, so anyways, what we're looking at the lines that I'm creating, there's a way that you can put this. I have mine in the top, bottom, center, or you can have this to the left or to have this to the right. I normally have these marked out. I'm not using my templates that I have normally saved. But does everybody know how to do these lines that I'm doing, put in the text, and then save them? You guys are awfully quiet today. Or is it just me? When you guys are with Sierra, you guys are giggling and talking and laughing. Am I not the fun one? It's okay. But we're gonna learn something today. It's okay, right? It's all right. So does anyone use these indicators outside of, because like I said, this is a naked chart, and so I just put on my supply and demand. I also like, there's another one that I like to use is for market structure. All right, so now let's add in, I'm sorry. Now let's add in our TEMA indicator. Now that you've marked up your charts, and we still could do some more marking. We can still do some more marking. But now that we've marked up the charts, does looking at our levels, does this change anything about your entry? And this is a bad entry, by the way. So does it change anything about when you get the signal to enter? I need my, so this is another, this is another indicator that I like. I'm going to take this off so you guys can see it clearly. And this is very helpful. So this shows when there is a change of character, whether or not it's a bearish change of character or if it's a bullish change of character. And can you now see? You see how this line here is green and it says change of character? And do you see where our level is? So again, all of this just reaffirms and reconfirms that marking out your charts definitely means something, right? Because this is bearish, still consolidating a little bit, going up and down, up and down. Now that it breaks here, it's a change of character. This was a key level for us. Now we have a closure above here. We can enter here, still be okay, and then ride this all the way up. So again, does it change when you get the signal to enter? If you're looking at these levels. And again, if you have, and if these levels here in the cent, what's the change of character indicator, please? This is called Lux Algo Market Structure Fractal. This again is really, really good when you are trading ICC. So we put back on our Tima stack. So now, does it matter? Now that we see the EMAs, does it matter? Right? And then also too, let's look at this level. This level is important. Why? Why? Strong reaction every time it reaches there. Head and shoulders. Explain that one, Ray. And also too, let's look to our left. Look where it hits again. So this level is important. So when you're looking at, even at your 1 minute chart, right? Because Friday-ish, around 2 p.m., hit this level, came back down. And then now let's look at this one. It's hit this level twice. And this is where, again, you would mark up your chart, you will put in a price, and you'll be mindful of this level. Let's look to our left. Another key level here. So will your chart be full of lines? Yes. If, again, you're thinking about where price is going to go and how it's going to react. Right? So when we were in our power hour last week, we were approaching support and resistance, supply and demand zones, and I was iffy about taking a trade. Or if I did take a trade, I know that for me, I would have to leverage a little bit more and my TP would have to be shortened, right? I mean, I wouldn't definitely go for, let's just say, I would be trying to go, if I normally go for 12 point, maybe I'll go for 6 and then I would double my size because I have a feeling that it's going to hit this level here and then come back down. Does that make sense? Yes, my participant, Treese, thank you. Yes, it makes sense, right? And so when you're looking at, so sometimes when you hear, oh, you said you took that trade and lost. Yeah, see, I wouldn't do it, right? So this is why, again, yes, it is great to look at the signals that you're getting from Tima, and it's great to look at the Tima stack, right? So my 55 is yellow. The blue is my 8. So when you have all of these levels here marked out and you can clearly see the text and what it is, then again, it's gonna say it may give you pause, or you might say, you know what, when it breaks this level here, I got time. I'm patient, right? Because this is just the 1 minute chart. When it breaks this level here, then I can say I'll enter here, and then your TP would be here because it's already touched this level here. So these levels that we're marking out, they also too, like I said, help you with your stop loss, and they help you with setting what your potential TP can be. So now let's turn on the team up stack, and then let's look at the signals. Now that we're looking at the signals and we have our levels, because this is before we know anything, right? So let's just say, even if I did a market replay, we don't know what's going to happen here. But you take this long here, and we know that we have a key level here, that it's hit this price here, and it's come back down here. Would you take this trade? And those are the questions. And you don't necessarily have to answer me now, but again, those are the questions and the things that we need to think about when we're placing our trades. Now, yes, can you take a chance and a risk? Because let's look at this, right? You got the signal to buy. It touches the EMA. We get into the market. And depending on what your leverage, I have in here 10. Oh, the market, so it's 6 o'clock, so the market must be open. So $175. What are we risking, right? Because for me, knowing that I have a key level here, like I said, we don't know what's going to happen. We just know that we've gotten the signal and we're supposed to go for a long. I would put my stop loss a little bit below this level here. So we're probably looking at like $250, right? Are we leveraging that? And then look what my potential, let's see. This will be my TP. Now looking at it like that, would you take that trade? Did this? It's okay. It's Sunday. It's a lazy, quiet Sunday. Maybe the market is open and you guys are looking for a trade already. I can tell you right now, Asia on Sunday night, Asia first 30 minutes an hour. Sorry. First 30 minutes is awesome, and then you're probably gonna look at between like 8:30 to 10:30, and Asia's pretty much done. Or again, if you're a set it and forget it, and you're trying things out, leverage small, and wake up in the morning and see if you won your trade. That's how I look at Asia. But she does give some good moves. Again, it does move slower if you are testing out some of your markups. Again, set your alerts. Um, again, if you are unsure about the levels here or taking a trade, you'll set an alert that when it crosses, you'll set an alert here. So when it crosses 7599, or was it 98, then you'll be alerted to look and see what's happening in the market and if you want to enter. Because again, this area in between here, in between these zones, might pose a concern, give you some pause. And you might say, you know what, I'll wait it out. Because really what trading is about patience. It's about patience. If it taps up here, would you guys take the tap? We live trading now.
I'm not gonna lie, I probably wouldn't. I think it's too early in the session, so I probably
Okay.
would just hold out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that happens. Tree says looks like support turn resistance. That happens. Tempted to if price stays under this level. It's just a lot of, it's just, again, so obviously this is from Friday. This area here is from Friday, and prices going up and down, and that's the other thing too. You guys should mark out your sessions as well. Obviously, Asia's gonna make a high. Oh, you hate Asia's movement. Asia's gonna make a high, Asia's gonna make a low. London's gonna make a high, London's gonna make a low. Those also too should be levels that you guys mark out. So yes, is your chart going to look crazy sometimes and have all of these? I don't use the sessions. I guess I just don't like the way that it looks on my chart. And sometimes I just don't because I only really trade New York and sometimes I pop in and out of Asia. London chops me up every time. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know who's figured her out yet. Um, London is terrible to me. That's only because again, I've woken up in the middle of the night because I've gotten an alert on something and I jumped in and I really didn't even look at the charts. But yeah, London's in the middle of the night for me. Is there anyone who trades London on this call? Oh, excuse me. Yeah, London's time, that's like 3 a.m. for me. So the call wasn't going to turn into this, but we'll see if we can get something and then we will call it a day. And then I'll see you guys tomorrow morning with Candace when she live trades. How often do I refresh my levels? That's a good question. My 12 hours, my 12 hours, I usually change, or again, if I have a daily, I leave it, obviously, because that's a huge key level. But my levels that I use for like the 5 minute, the 15 minute, when they're low like that, I leave it. Previous day highs, obviously, you have to change those. But again, if you are, and I'm going to start erasing these because again, if you're just sorry, my alerts. If we get an alert, when will this replay be posted? It should be later on tonight. Um, or by tomorrow for sure. So again, if you are just, and I'm going to remove this supply and demand and this market structure. See? No new levels. S- Saint. No, baby. No. Um, so here's the funny thing. I've noticed that Asia is really good on Sundays for some reason. I have a lot more success trading Asia. I think because it's the break of or it's the start of our trading week. So it does give a good indication of where the market is going. I'm sorry. So those are my levels. So I'm getting a signal for me to enter in long. And as you can see, it's going in the right direction. So if I would have entered in when I got the signal the first time, I'd put my level up there. Let me just X out of that. So does anyone have any questions about the levels that I marked out? Why I marked them out?
Missed 10 minutes of it.
If I could hold a trade more than 2 minutes. Oh, why can't you? ADD. Okay. You know what? You can hold a trade for, again, and I tell people this all the time, you can hold trades for a really long time if you size down. Because you're gonna go into some drawdown. What's the lowest time frame I would chart? Um, I do look at, let's just say for example, I do look at my 1 minute, right? And I start to go in like this. We can see, and that's another thing too. You guys have to, yes, when you're looking at for where to enter, but to look at the overall chart, you guys have to zoom it in like this because this is where it makes sense, right? So now we're looking at, for example, this is because we're on the 1 minute. This level here, look how many times it's tapped it. Look how many times it's tapped this. Also, too, remember I talked to you guys about the W shape. Let me delete one of those. I talked to you about the W, right? Do you set multiple TPs when you're holding for longer or do you trail? I do a little bit of both. Um, when I have my ATMs set up, um, yes, W's and M's, yes. When I have my ATM set up like in Tradeovate or Ninja Trader, yeah, I do break even in trails. When I trade manually, I only enter a trade with a stop loss. I don't enter in with a TP. kind of have an idea, like I can eyeball it. Like I said before, if I was trading, I would be looking at this level. If I would have entered in for a long, I'm looking at this level as my TP, as where I think it can go. But I just have I think you guys were on a call with me, or some of you guys were on a call with me. Now you guys see, I got the indication for me to enter in a long, and it's playing out. Let's see if it does touch this level. But yeah, if I'm on a 1 minute chart, and that really is my focus, yeah, it's great to have these levels here, where I think price can go or how price reacts. But yeah, on a 1 minute chart, this will be a level here. This will be a level here. And as I've said before, this is making a W. Does anyone knows what this kind of strategy is? Right. And then so if you look over to your left, always look to your left as well. We've made an M, right? Let me get my path tool. We made an M here. So when it crosses this level here, sales. We make a W. When it crosses this level here, we sell. I mean, we're buying. That's a story for another day. But again, if you're looking at and going back to Ray's question again, as the market is moving, we're making more levels, right? So let's look at this level. See how it's tapped here? And look what's happening right here to your right. It got to this level and then price pushed up. And look where price is dancing around here. Look how many times this tapped this level. So this level here will be a level of importance to me on a 1 hour chart. I mean, I'm sorry, on a 1 minute chart. Going back and let's look at this one as well. It's having a hard time breaking this level. And I'm quite sure if I put my supply and demand, my support and resistance indicator back on, these levels will be marked out as well. So just also too, just to make sure that you guys are doing it right, because you should learn how to not always depend on the indicators. Mark your levels first and then put your indicator on and then let it give you more validation that you're looking at your chart properly. My only thing is that with marking up your charts like this, at some point you're not going to realize like what all these white lines mean. Please use the text. What is my entry checklist? Um, my entry checklist is I look at the 3 minute and the 5 minute. Or again, I'm using our community members indicator where I have this dashboard here to make sure that all three time frames are aligned. And as you can see, they are. The other thing is as well, looking at my levels. It's had a hard time with this level here. So for me, the space two of the EMAs, 55 still has a lot of space in between it. I would go and look at my 3 minute chart. Let's look at it. If we're looking at the 3 minute chart, the EMAs haven't even crossed yet. They haven't crossed yet. Let's go back and let's look at our 5-minute chart. And so again, as we're looking at our levels, you see how it's hit this level again on a 5-minute chart? This is a higher time frame. So when the the patterns start to do like this, or again, the EMAs start to like cross and do all of this, these levels, I would, for me, from here to here, I wouldn't take a trade. Does that answer your question? I need a good slope. I need a slope like this. Let's look at it. I need a slope like this. This here, I'm in this all day. I'm riding this all day. I'm not getting out of a trade like this until probably about right here. When the EMAs are like this, so let's just say I took this tap here. Yes, friend, that is like 2 hours. You want to trade one time and be done for the week or done for 2 or 3 days? That's what happens. Let's look at it. Let's look at it, chat. Tree's talking about that's like 2 hours. Okay. What else you gotta do in them 2 hours? First of all, this is a 5-minute chart, so is it 2 hours? Yeah, a little bit. She said, raise these kids. All right, let's look at it. Right? Because if you would have entered into this
I
trade,
don't know, it's kind of freaky, but it's a pretty long time between you and your bed.
I'm sorry, who was that? You have a question? Okay. Well, anyways, if you would have entered into this trade, you barely have any drawdown. Hardly any. What is that? $50, right? I would have set my TP. I'm sorry, my stop loss here,
250.
250. And I would have rode this out all the way until it probably started to cross and take me out. So now do you guys understand, like, again, when we're looking at our entries, where we think our TP should be? And if you're looking at it again, it's right back at this level where it's tapped into before. If we look over to our left, there's that level again. And then look how many times it taps this level. So the price is going to come to these levels and they're going to react to it. So how many times, again, so this is again a consolidation. These times it taps and then it finally shoots up. So my thing is to you guys, again, zoom in and out of your charts. When it's trading like that with hardly any displacement, what give you the confidence to hold? Again, I'm looking at my levels that I have marked out. I'm looking at my levels that I have marked out. I also too look at that it's broken this level here, right? This here. Well, I've gotten in a trade before that. I'm approaching this, right? So let's just say I have this level marked out. I would take the candle that closes above this. And then I would have wrote it up. So that's the other thing as well. When there are swing levels, it's a swing high and it's a swing low. You should wait for a candle closure above that level. So people call that break and retest. People call that indication, correction, and continuation. It's also to the TEMA in a sense, where I've mentioned this before. Price goes up, it retests, and then it goes back up. So only until it crosses that line, you enter. And that's another confluence to hold or to get into your trade. Does that make sense to everybody? And why it makes sense to mark up your charts?
Mhm.
So we're going to put back on our supply and demand. And then we're going to look at it. Look how our levels coincides with supply and demand. This is all you're doing, folks. It's not hard. When you see price keeps tapping a certain area, mark it out. Put the number on it. If you want to be conservative, set an alert, right? Okay, so let's look at our chart right now. What did I say? Breaks above this, I'll be interested in buying, right? We're getting ready to break that level. Look at my chart. Look at my dashboard. And this is a 5-minute chart. So now that we're on a 5-minute chart, we see what's happening. I would not do anything unless I get a 5-minute candle closure above this level. The higher the time frame, the higher the probability, right? Because if it's crossing on the 5, you already know that it's crossed on the 1 and on a 3, right? So everything is aligned and exactly what I said. It crosses over here, and this is a key level for us because this was a swing, and it's also too tapping into the zone. Does that make sense? I'm going to assume yes. So anyways, um, we can go back and look at our 3-minute chart. Now, as you can see, remember now, you have sellers here. This was a level that we had already marked out. So our levels is matching up with our supply and our demand zones. Now, would you guys take this trade once it closes above this level that we had already marked out before, but you see that this zone is here? Would you take the trade? Would we take the tap? Because it's getting ready to tap. Ray says no. Because what could potentially happen? But also, too, how much are you looking to make on your trade? Right?
Mhm.
So let's look at that. Let's look at it. We aren't saying that this is a bad trade, right? So even up here to this zone is about $500-$600. Yep, possible reversal. But what if you only want to make, excuse me, Sorry. So, but what if you only want to make $200? Does that change your decision? Would you take it? We only want to make $200. Do we take the tap? Because that makes a difference. Or if I was only using 5 micros and then you wanted to make $200, that pushes this up here. Okay. We're supposed to be marking up our charts, but you know what? We're gonna take it. That's okay, right? So I'm gonna put my stop loss here. Ooh, that's a lot. And put it to this level here. I'm on a 3 minute. Let's see what this looks like on a one. Does that make a difference? Now that we're on a one? That's the other thing as well. Look at different time zones. I'm sorry, different time frames. Does this make a difference now that I'm on the one? This is the 3 minute. You would change the stop. Change the stop to what? And why? So if I was entering on the one, my entry would be up here. My entry would be here. My my pause or concern for this on a 1 minute with my entry right here is that the high and the low is almost at the same price. Those two candles open and close almost at the same price. Let me look at the 3 minute. And so you guys see the two wicks at the top?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's orders still there. Um, Again, the fact that these candles are pretty much at the same price, these wicks here,
You go high. Yeah.
it makes me believe that this price is going to come back down.
Mm-hmm.
And also too, it's okay to say think that you're going to enter into a trade and then look at how the market is moving and be like, you know what? Mm, I don't think so. And X out. Because also too, even looking at this level, that means like it's three times that it's touched like this price. Got up here and came back down. So now looking at this on a 3 minute, but also too looking at our 8 and our 55. Are we staying in to this trade?
No.
No? Yeah, let me know something because it's gonna tag me in. I got one no. You don't like it. Treese doesn't like it. Let's see what this looks like on a one. So do you guys see? Now when you look at where my entry is for the 3 minute, look where it's tapped into. Look at where it's tapped into. This zone here.
Mm.
So also too, when you guys are looking at your trades and you have your charts marked out or you have your supply and demand, when you go back and look at if you're entering in on the 1 minute, the 5 minute, the 3 minute, Teresa, I don't know how you do on the 15 second, but you have to look back also too of where it's tapping into. I got sellers here and it looks like they're still here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Looks like we're going up, come down, go right around this level here. So these are other things that I think everyone should consider when, again, sometimes too, not taking the taps blindly, but also too, if it makes sense. Yeah, they are. Stop it, Saint. So yeah, so okay, we've gotten the tap. You know what? Let's take it and let's see how it plays out. I want to put you guys on mute so I can deal with my little puppy, and I'll be well. Let's see if it taps us in. See what happens. I don't know if I want to chase it. Yeah, it would have. I like for price to come to me. I hate chasing. But for this here, because Asia does move quite slow, I might move my limit order up. Let's see what's going on the 1 minute and what's happening. I don't like how this looks on the 1 minute. But again, we do have a zone here. Possibly you could tap into there. I mean, my TP is all the way down here, so this gives me, maybe this gives me a little bit of confidence where again it'll tap into here, go up, it may come back down, tap into this again and go back up. We are a little bit above this zone. So looks like we're inching our way, but again, this is Asia and this is how Asia market moves. I am well past my time. But again, I don't know if I'm gonna get the tap in. Uh,
And the witch was still on.
it got close, but I don't think we're gonna get it. And this here, especially for Asia, this can go on all night for Asia. Um, I believe like around 8 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken, I believe like Tokyo market opens, and that's the reason why the volume starts to pick up. But if this is happening, and this is another indication too, if you guys are trading Asia, if this is happening at 6 o'clock, um, then it's gonna be a slow night. And I wouldn't check back into Asia until about 8 or 9 EST. So, um, I was really supposed to just mark up the charts anyway, but I just figured since I had ran over time anyway and thought that maybe we can catch a trade really quickly, but it doesn't look like it. And and I don't want to break any of my rules and chase a price. I have to let it come to me, and it hasn't done that yet. Let me go look at the one. Now, again, if I was on the 1 minute chart, then this will be my entry here. So it looked like the EMAs are going to cross again, probably when price gets up to about right here. And then you'll probably get another signal. But if you're looking at it on a 1 minute chart, the 1 minute chart hasn't even gotten a signal.
Mm-hmm.
So the 1 minute chart hasn't even gotten a signal. So really, to be honest with you, if you are looking at the indicator, you shouldn't even be trying to get in. Not on the 1 minute anyway. And as you can see, I moved my limit order up just to see if it will touch it. But this will be the 1 minute tap all the way up here. And then now let's look at a 3 minute chart and see where that tap would be. And the EMA is way down here. So this is chasing, and I wouldn't do it. If you trade the 3 minute, then let your limit order be on the 3 minute because this can hurt you every time. And especially if you go all the way down to drawdown where the EMA is, and then you're going to draw down some more, you're already stopped out. And that's what people talk about when they say that they're stopped out. So don't chase the price. So, and again, this is just the first hour of Asia. It's okay if you don't catch a trade. Like I said, always go back and check the charts for Asia, like around 8 o'clock, 8:30, and you'll see a little bit more movement. And if you aren't sure about the volume, get an indicator, the volume indicator for TradingView, and then you'll have a little chart down here that shows you what the volume is, or you can use the MACD that also too will show you what the volume is. And because sometimes it's just not worth it to be in this trade for 30 minutes and it's dancing up and down, because what we all know is that when price goes up and down like this, what happens? somewhere buyers or seller comes in and then there's a huge candle. Sometimes it works in your favor, sometimes it doesn't, but it's just not worth it. This entry here is not worth it. So it's just best to wait. I hope that makes sense and you guys learned something. Um, Next week we'll have the same class. It'll probably be a little bit later, maybe at 5:30. So again, we can go into the market for Asia, and we will have some designated things that we will talk about when it comes to just marking up our charts. So if you guys have any questions before then, please DM me or some topics you want to talk about in the chart markup. We can do that. Also, in closing, we do have some announcements coming up this week. Some challenges, some other um, things for our premium Discord members. So please stay tuned for that. And tomorrow morning, Candace will be trading live, I believe at 9:15. So, if you guys get anything tonight, please be in the chat. Let us know if you have any wins for tonight. I may stay on till about 10, who knows? But other than that, I might just let Asia go because again, I would not be interested in taking a trade until it crosses this level here. And as you can see, we had already marked this out. So please, everybody mark up your charts. It'll save you. All right? So that's all my time, folks. Thank you for joining. I really, really appreciate it. And we will chat later on.
Okay.